the tape for this, our main event of the evening. We introduce the champion, Chris, the West Side Strangler Brennan. Let's get it all!
What's up? We're back to go over the results from Bellator 291. Had some great fights. I guess you missed the first one, but caught everything after that?
Yeah. So let's talk about Kieran Clark and Leonardo Sinise. What did you see in this fight?
So Kieran's, like I said before, there was a handful of guys on this card that we would like to fight in the future for Luke. There was 4 45 fights on the undercard. I thought there was 2. There was 4. Okay. And then this one. And then 2 on the main card.
Yeah.
So he was good, man. I felt like he wasn't playing with his food, but he wasn't trying to finish him. I feel like he was trying to get cage time. But then I went back and I looked at his record while I was sitting there with Lucas, and he has multiple decisions over his amateur career as well, and then a few as a pro. And so maybe that's his style. Maybe he's just a grinder, and he definitely grinded out. Had all the position, had all the takedowns. The guy, what's his opponent's name? Sinise. Very he would overshoot his punches. Okay. He'd overcommit and make the takedown very easy. And every takedown was easy. There was no takedown offense on the other end. Judging it from like watching the fight and trying to compare him to Luke would have tapped the guy in the first round 100%. Okay. And I'm not going to say he couldn't. I feel like he didn't for whatever reason. It might have been, again, getting more experience, more cage time. He's early on, like Luke. I think he's 7-0 now.
7-0 now. That's right.
Which is the same. We're going out there trying to kill you. We've got it, one decision, and whatever. But it's probably smart if that's what he was doing. I'm sure he was doing it for a reason.
When you go back and review the fight in your head, was there any time that the fight was in doubt for you, or did Kieran feel like
No.
Did it feel like he controlled the entire 15 minutes of that fight?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest he got hit was from the guy on the bottom. He literally swelled a little bit of both eyes just throwing stuff from the bottom. Okay. But if you're a guy that's just throwing stuff from the bottom, that's all you got to do is control their arms and not get hit. They're not trying to get up. They're not trying to submit you. They're trying to punch you. So, okay,
right.
Cool.
Right. He's young. He's only 27. And when you look
who?
Kieran.
Is he 27?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was young like Luke.
He's not Luke young. He looks Luke young.
Well, to be honest, this is the first fight where he walked out and I was like, he looks like he started to become a man. Okay. So I thought he was younger because I thought this is the first time his face looked a little fuller. Yeah. His body for sure looked a little fuller. Yeah. And I know there was a catch weight, but it was only by a couple pounds. So, but he definitely looked bigger and a little more physically mature.
7-0 in Bellator, 145, young kid. That description sounds familiar.
There's the collision course at some point for sure.
I'm sure you're taking a lot of notes and probably be excited for that fight when that time comes.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, the next fight was an entertaining one. Let me get back to...
I was correct on my pick on the first one, right?
You were. Okay. Yes. So let's go back on that. We'll make sure we
keep track on that as we walk through these.
Absolutely. Janae Harding and Sinead Kavanaugh.
She's got to get cut, right? Like
now you're 6-8.
6-8. I thought should have been before, but they keep her around. She does fight an exciting fight, but now it's got to be at least 3 in a row.
Yeah, I think it is 3 in a row because she came in on a losing streak.
Yeah.
So let me double check that, but I think she did come in. It might be 4 in a row.
So Sinead Kavanaugh looked really good. She was picking her apart. Landed really good stuff, and I feel like Janae Harding just never got going.
Is Sinead related to John?
I don't know. She trains at that gym. A long time ago, he had a girlfriend that trained at his gym, and then this girl popped up
Yeah.
and had the same last name. I was like, oh, is that the same girl? Did they get married? But I have no idea. They didn't. That's not his girlfriend.
Okay.
So I have no idea. Brennan is a pretty common name over there as well.
Sure.
So I'm not sure.
Pivoting to Janae Harding, this is her third loss in a row, but it's 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
And again, she's 6-8. I don't know that I've ever seen another professional MMA fighter under contract with a losing record.
Right. Yeah,
seems
very
like-
difficult. It does happen randomly in the girls' divisions. If you look at the UFC, it's getting better now, but there were a lot of 500 girls or just off of 500. Even Sinead wasn't that far off, right, before this fight?
I'll look and see. Janae is 500 in Bellator, though.
Yeah.
So for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, so they're just – women are harder to come by in the sport, right? So when you get one that's decent, they try to hang on to them, I think, and wait till they improve. She just I feel like she hasn't, unfortunately.
Sinead came in at 8-5, so now she's 9-5 after this one. And this was another 145 fight division, but probably not when you were watching as much quite as hard.
No, I mean, I watched it because it was a good fight. But
yeah, absolutely.
I was not paying attention to it for that same reason, though.
Yeah.
But I did pick Sinead to win.
You did. You had a great record this fight.
I definitely should have bet.
Right? Pedro Carvalho, Jeremy Kennedy.
Yeah.
What a great fight.
So Jeremy Kennedy's a problem. Not super exciting, but those are the guys who are a bigger problem than the exciting guys. The exciting guys you can find holes in. You can find spots to do things. Jeremy Kennedy is the guy that came out and took down Aaron Pico, right? Then he comes out here and he literally takes Pedro Carvalho's back, lifts him up, and just dumps him. Picks him up and sets him down wherever he wants him.
Yeah.
Like he had complete control of him. So he is definitely a problem. I'm glad he was calling out number one and asking for Pitbull. But I heard a rumor 30 seconds ago that he is for sure going down to 35.
Really?
Yeah. So he wants to be a 3-time champ. And so
Pitbull's going down to 35.
yeah, that kid is definitely not going to 35.
I was
He's
like,
huge.
this dude's 5'10".
Yeah, and he was very muscular.
Yeah.
Thin but muscular.
Sure.
And he just looked very strong.
Scrappy kid,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, his post-fight interview was great because he said he was complaining about the rankings because he's beat guys in front of him but hasn't moved up.
Yeah.
And then he said he's been sick all week.
Yes.
And even at his worst night, he can
Yeah.
dog walk everyone in the division. I was like,
whoa.
all right.
Well, and you look at the rankings, I think we might have talked about this. It's Patricio, it's Adam Borks, AJ McKee, Pedro that he just beat, Aaron Pico that you just talked about beating,
Yep.
and then Jeremy Kennedy.
So something's about to shake up in the rankings because if Patricio moves down, and AJ McKee's not even in there anymore. He's on the list, but he's not in our weight class anymore.
He moved up to 55.
Yeah,
is
he's
that
in the
right?
tournament.
Yep.
So he's staying there. People are going to move in, right? People are going to move into the weight class once those two come out. They have to make 10.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, to be honest, we stay right where we are and let some people jump us.
Okay.
Just because we're about to be in a new position contractually and fighting a different breed of guys.
Yeah.
So I'm in no rush now that we're here to be up at the top of that weight class. I want to get a handful before that spot, probably a year and a half of fights. It's about 4 fights.
It was 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the math.
We'd
that I
like to
was
get
doing.
3 a year.
Yeah.
So about a year to a year and a half.
Okay.
Then at that point, I'm just ready to let the gates open and say,
Yeah, let's go.
Here we
Let's
go.
see what you can do.
So, yeah, I'm not sure who they'll move in. Kai Kamaka maybe, Lencioni possibly. Henry Corrales isn't in there, and he's a stud. He's got like 40, 50 fights. Cody Law's in a little bit of a rut at the moment. I think he's 6-2 or 7-2. He's on a 2-fight skid at the moment. And he was about to be 7-0 like Luke, and then lost 2 in a row. So I think he's 6-2.
I'm looking at the top 10 rankings for featherweights, and you look at the number of fights that each of these fighters have. Other than a 7-0 at number 10, the closest one is 12 fights, and then you've got 15, 18, there are...
I mean, look at the person right in front of Lucas.
Yeah.
How many fights he has?
Daniel Weichel,
50?
42 and 14, I think is 50.
Yeah, 58.
58?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of fights right
Yeah.
above him. So, well, I didn't realize that I had heard you talk about Patricio maybe going down to
You say 42 and 14?
42 and 14. So that's
56. Yeah.
It's a lot of fights.
Yeah.
And you got a young scrapper at 7-0 coming up above him. That's awesome. It was a super entertaining fight. I really like this. I gained a lot of respect for
a lot of people didn't, and I'm sure Scott Coker sitting there didn't either, because it's basically the same kind of win that Storley got over MVP, but he dominated. He dominated him. He manhandled. He did something to a guy that the guy couldn't stop him from doing. Right.
Yeah.
For 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And so
and it was a unanimous. It was 30-27, wasn't it? I mean, it was not only was it unanimous, but he pitched a perfect game.
Right.
Like he won all 3 rounds all the way through. So
I don't think he got hit, to be honest.
Super, and if you ever have a conversation with him, you got to work on the JBC thing. I don't know if you heard about that. So Jeremy Kennedy's, his nickname is JBC. It stands for Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. And they told a story about it because they were telling him he was eating at McDonald's all the time. And like, you got to eat healthier. And he came back and he's like, I am. Now I'm eating at Wendy's.
Wendy's is healthier than McDonald's.
So, So he got Junior Bacon Cheeseburger
That's
as
hilarious.
his nickname. And
JBC.
even Big John was talking about it. I was like, they got to do something with that. What might have been my second favorite fight of the night, Peter Queally versus Bryce Logan. And I backed you deep into a corner and said,
You did. You tried to talk me out of it.
I did try to talk you out of it. Bryce is coming in on a 3-fight losing streak. Are you sure you want to do this? He's 0-3 in Bellator. Are you sure? And the first round, Peter Queally looked like he was kind of handling him. And then the elbow came.
So it doesn't matter if you're Jordan Burroughs and have the greatest wrestling on earth. If you don't wrestle, then it doesn't matter, right? And if you I don't want to say he got lucky, because he didn't get lucky. He threw the elbow, it landed, but he fought. He doesn't have a great fight IQ, right? And he's getting beat up and bloodied up, and finally gets back to his feet and ties up and then drops that elbow. Fantastic. Peter Queally now is 0-2 in the O2 Arena in his last 2, which is a bummer for him. I don't know if he's got to see his walkout, but it's pretty amazing. The crowd sings to him his song as he walks out.
Yeah, well, it was the song, too. I remember.
I forget the name of it, but.
I did see it. It was long. I mean, it was like
they keep playing it while he's in there, too. And they just sing. It's awesome. But I don't. You can't say as the pressure gets to him, right? Because he was beating the guy, handily. Just. If your back's against the fence, you need to be getting your back off the fence, and that's it. Not trying to fight from there. You need to be getting off the fence. And he stood there, and as soon as he gave the overhook on that side, right over the top,
left elbow was
and he's stiff until he hit the ground, then started fighting and just ate hard punches. Those punches were hard on the ground.
There was some hammer fists that were coming in.
Yeah, and you could hear it. I was like, oh, those are going to end the fight right now, and they did.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that, because there weren't. I mean, they connected, and it was fast. But I'm sure somebody could look at it and be like, "Wow, he stopped it kind of quick."
Oh no,
But
had he not jumped on him and hit him, he may have been out already from the elbow that dropped him. But he started hitting him, so it's hard to say. But if I was Peter Queally, I would get out of fighting in Ireland. I would fight somewhere else.
Okay.
Once or twice, just to get kind of back in my
shake it up a little bit.
And a little less pressure.
Yeah.
And then, get back at it. I don't think that fight does as much for Bryce Logan as he would like it to do.
Okay.
Rankings-wise and stuff like that. Like, he's not going to jump from unranked to number 3 or whatever.
Right.
Was he 3?
Let me look and see. But yeah, I hear what you're saying here. Wait.
He was 0-3 in Bellator before that fight. Not in there, right?
Not it. I don't even see Quealy ranked in the top 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. But that's weird.
Oh no, I'm sorry. He wasn't. He is number
55.
10. He is number 10.
Okay.
I missed him right there.
So I still don't see that's not going to move Bryce Logan into the rankings.
Yeah,
he was 0-3 in Bellator. Now he's 1-3.
And to your point, it's hard to say lucky because the strike connected.
Sure.
And it was timed perfectly, and I think he knew exactly what he was doing when he threw it.
Sure, absolutely.
But
Peter Queal is still a better fighter.
yeah.
That's what I think.
So why did you double down on it? I mean,
Because he was training at Fight Ready, Henry Cejudo's place. John Jones is there. A lot of smart guys there. A lot of good fighters there. I assumed that, okay, someone has pulled this guy aside. He's 0-3 in Bellator and said, "You're a 4-time All-American. Let's wrestle this guy to death and get the win."
Okay.
So I assumed he would go out there and grind a decision.
Okay.
And as it's happening, I'm sitting there with Lucas and I'm like this guy deserves to lose.
Yeah.
Like when you're that good at something and you refuse to use it, like you deserve whatever happens, you know? And so my pick of him went out the window. I was like, well, that was,
There goes that.
Yeah, I picked him because I thought he would fight with smart fight IQ. But again, he was a dog, right? He was still in it after getting beat up, got back to his feet, and landed the elbow that finished the night. And it was a highlight for him. It'll be a highlight of his career, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be the top of his highlight reel probably.
No one cheered. It was quiet. It was quiet. He's doing this, and they're like, "Yeah."
You're like, "Yeah,
boo.
we don't care. We don't care." Definitely the fight of the night. Yaroslav Amosov.
What a stud!
That guy came out.
Wait, I was right about the last fight too, right?
You were. That was
Bryce
that
Logan.
was the one I texted you, and I just literally it was a one-word text. I just went, "Dude."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Yup," and I'm like, "All right, well." You
Pulled it off.
Totally called that. Yaroslav Amosov. Man, I didn't know very much about this guy. I had remember seeing a lot of press from him when he joined the Army for Ukraine.
Yep.
I did see the YouTube video, and they talked about it of him crawling out of his house after it had been bombed.
Right.
With the belt,
Yeah.
was just like, okay, and his mom's like, we hid it for you, and it's still there, and he pulled it out and dusted it off. But I kind of feel like he was going to be dusting off his skills as much as he was dusting off that belt. And boy, he came in looking so sharp.
I did too, and man, did he look good. He, the fact that they were a split decision in their last fight against each other,
Yeah.
he gapped him. Like he stretched out the skill sets, and if you think back, so he's at American Top Team now. He trains at ATT, and that's where Nemkov went to train for. Who did he just beat for the belt? Corey Anderson. So Corey Anderson had taken him down the first time they fought. Was grounding and pounding on him. He went to ATT and just worked with Eblin and those guys in wrestling.
Yeah.
And then he fought Corey Anderson again and stuffed 15 takedowns.
Yeah.
And never got taken down once.
Yep.
So Amosov, he starts training again, goes ATT, is there training with Johnny Eblin. Johnny Eblin's there. You see him, he did an interview. He was basically in tears talking about him.
So I want to get back to that. So cool, but yeah.
So he comes out and is stuffing every single takedown with no problem, landing strikes, landing combinations, landing body kicks. Like he picked him apart and then took him down himself.
Yeah, the combinations were impressive to me. It was 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't, and I saw even fewer maybe of 2 when it was like 3, 4, and 5. I mean, when he saw an opening, he was just throwing.
Yeah.
And it looked really
good.
good.
And continued to land the body kick. Had they been reverse stances and he was Storley, he may have stopped the fight with liver kicks, but him being the orthodox, he's kicking the southpaw on the left side.
Yeah.
It hurts, but you don't get the liver.
You don't get the liver.
And so had they been the opposite, or had Storley been throwing it like Amosov was throwing it, man, he landed some right under the elbow on the body, clean. And I was just like, oh, man, those hurt, you know?
And they were loud.
Oh, yeah. Everything he landed was loud. Like, he looked just fantastic. And to be honest, I thought he was getting better as the rounds went on.
Yeah.
And Strangler was just getting broken. He was getting broken. He was just like, he would continue to try, continue to fight, but mentally, I'm sure he was just like, well, this guy's different than the last time we fought.
Storley's got a chin.
Oh, yeah, man.
That guy is his durability.
I mean, he got cracked by MVP as well. He stood at one whole round with MVP in that fight and got cracked by him as well. He's got a solid chin.
Just to take that punishment for 25 rounds, I thought was super impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, you don't want to do that, right?
No, you don't.
You don't want to be known for that either, but
Yeah.
but it is great to have that in your back pocket if you ever need it.
Going back to Johnny Eblin, the interview beforehand was super touching. I thought it was absolutely sincere. I thought it was really neat of him, and it made me think. Now I understand why Johnny Eblin is who he is,
right?
Because he's been training not for the past 20 months, obviously, but if he's been training at the same place as Amosov,
yeah.
Now I get it,
right?
You know, if iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah, super cool interview. I wasn't a huge fan of his before, you know, because I liked Musasi and whatnot, and he beat him and was kind of a punk when you know doing it, but he looked like, you know. He made a fan out of me that last night.
Do you see? I don't know how you even compare this, and maybe this isn't even a fair question, but you start looking at the great 170s right now. If
can you believe that's the weight class I fought in? Look how big they are, bro. That's the weight class I fought in.
Yeah, that's
the majority of my career.
That is nuts.
Nuts.
That is
absolutely nuts.
Do you see Amosov competing against other 170s favorably in other promotions?
Well, if he fought in like the UFC or something? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dude's 27-0.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I don't know who he has next. MVP has a fight coming up, but that'd be a challenging fight, I guess, if he stayed standing with him. But MVP has I'm not sure who, but he definitely has a fight coming up, and it might be.
Yeah,
it's not our card.
I didn't pull it up.
Yeah, he's fighting Gochi Yamauchi.
Okay.
On the next card, which is March 10th, so it's coming up, and so he is 20-2, fighting guys 28-5. Yamauchi's a stud. He knocked out Neiman Gracie with a really nice uppercut. That'll be a good fight. We'll see how Yamauchi fights against Michael Page, but the winner of that, I would imagine, might get a shot.
Yeah.
And have fun. Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. We didn't talk about it on the preview, and I don't know that there's a lot to say about this, but there was a fight that happened on Sunday that was noteworthy. Jake Paul and Tommy Fury went after it, and Tommy Fury handed him his first loss via split decision. I didn't catch any of it. I didn't see.
I watched the entire Bellator card the night before.
Yeah, and
I didn't watch any of it.
That was it.
I honestly I didn't know for sure if they were or weren't fighting because I really don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
But I heard Jake knocked him down in the 7th or 8th round.
Okay.
Like clean knockdown. But I heard that Tommy Fury won a split decision. Jake Paul, fought finally a boxer, not even a phenomenal boxer, just a boxer, and lost. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He came, he fought, he talked his way into it and fought MMA guys to get there and whatever, but hopefully he got paid well because I think that's what he does all this for.
Yeah.
And now, so contractually, if Tommy Fury won, he had to give Jake a rematch. If Jake won, he didn't have to give Tommy Fury a rematch.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So if Jake won, I think he was going to try and jump up, and fight somebody bigger.
Yeah.
And now they've got a rematch. And
Interesting. So
yeah.
we'll see that in 4 or 5 months probably and then figure out what's next. Well, it'll be this is a good time. You said that March 10th is the next Bellator event that we have.
2 weeks basically.
But before that, we have an awesome card that's going to happen with UFC. I forget what the number is, but that's the John Jones UFC that's coming up just at the end of this week.
Have you seen the video of him hitting mitts?
No.
He looks terrible.
Jones?
Like, I'm hoping that he's stunting on everybody. I'm hoping he's punking everybody, and he is better than what he's showing by hitting mitts because he's slow.
Yeah.
He doesn't move anything like he used to move. You know, he was so athletic with spinning elbows, and I just he better be grappling Cyril Gahn and not striking with him, because if he strikes like he's hitting mitts, I just think he's in a lot of trouble. And I think he's got to be smarter than that. Like, there's no way he's going to come back to lose, right? He's the GOAT, you know?
Yeah.
He's got to be smarter than that. And so maybe I'm getting sucked into what he's wanting everyone else to get sucked into, and then he just shows up and he looks great, you know, like always. But like I said before, he barely won his last 2 at 205.
Yep.
You know, I thought he lost. A lot of people think he lost both of them.
Yep.
I thought for sure he lost the Dominic Reyes fight. So we'll see. Well, I will be one of the guys that are watching to see him get beat.
Yeah.
But like they say, you know, at least everyone's watching, and I'll be watching for that.
That's all that matters.
Yep.
Cool. He wants your money.
Yep. All right, guys, thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys next time.
It is all over, just like that.